All right, Hurricanes fans. So I have one question for y'all today. And that one question is, do you still want Lane Kiffin? The reason why I ask it is because, as y'all know, I've been a huge supporter of Mario Cristobal since he's been at Miami. I think he's done an excellent job thus far. Sure, he's made mistakes here and there. Sure, he didn't kneel the ball when he should have. Sure, he called a timeout here or didn't call a timeout there. But overall, I think he's done an exceptional job. It seems like every mistake that he makes, every time we lose a football game, we consistently hear people saying, we need to fire him, we need to fire him. And my question to all those folks is always, if we fire Mario Cristobal, who do we hire? Who do you want? The one name that consistently comes up, and I mean every single time, is Lane Kiffin. And I've come on here and I've done videos explaining to y'all why Lane Kiffin would be the worst pick of any coach you could think of. And this is actually playing out in real time. I think it's crazy that it's playing out in real time, where I don't have to just give you these hypothetical scenarios, but it actually is playing out and why I believe Lane Kiffin would be a horrible fit. One, because the dude is just a professional troller. That's just all he cares about doing is getting attention and trolling people. He loves that kind of thing. Two, he's not loyal to anything. The main reason why I have consistently said that Mario Cristobal is the perfect fit for Miami is because of his loyalty to the program. Sure, he's an excellent recruiter. That's a big, that's a huge plus, obviously. But when you have a coach or a player that is 100% consistent behind wanting to be at your school, there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. When your coach is telling the entire world that he is coaching at his dream school, there's nothing better than that. And I remember saying over and over, Lane Kiffin is only as loyal to whatever is presented in front of him. Like, if you ask Mario Cristobal today, hey man, do you want this Alabama coaching job? It's coming up. And he'd be like, no, thank you. If you ask Mario Cristobal, do you want to coach the Miami Dolphins? No, thank you. He wants to be the Miami Hurricanes coach. Meanwhile, you look at somebody like Lane Kiffin, coach the Raiders, cool. Then he goes and coaches Tennessee. It's like the Tennessee Volunteers, college football. And he's telling people, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to leave. There's actually somebody who went to play for Lane Kiffin from where I live, from my hometown, and went to play for Lane Kiffin. And Lane Kiffin's telling the entire world, I'm not going anywhere, man. I like it here. Just relax. Like, y'all talking too much. You're doing too much. Relax. I'm going to be here long term. And then what happens? Disappears. You know what I'm saying? That's just who Lane Kiffin is. He goes to USC. He loses there. Then he goes and rehabs and does some things. Rehabs his career, I should say, at Alabama and does all those different moves. But he's not loyal to anything. He's just loyal to the next opportunity that's being presented to him at that point. Imagine having a team. Y'all know how desperate our Hurricanes are to get into the playoffs, the college football playoffs. Imagine us finally being in a prime position to get into the college football playoffs, like Ole Miss is, where Lane Kiffin is coaching now. They're in prime position to get into the college football playoffs. And all that they can talk about right now, the only reason why anybody's talking about Ole Miss right now, not because of the game they just played, not because they're in this great position to get into the playoffs, but because their coach is probably about to leave. Are you serious? Instead of him focusing on the current situation, instead of him getting his team right and putting on the blinders and saying, I'm going to make sure we get a national championship this year. Instead of him doing that, there's reports coming out that his family toured Baton Rouge because they're interested in the LSU job. Are you serious? Just a couple of weeks before the season's over, just a couple of weeks before a few weeks before the playoffs start, they taking trips to Florida. Apparently, like, there was news that he went to Florida first. His family took a trip to Florida. That was the news first. It was just whispers out there, and people are like, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. And then there's stories that come out saying, well, now his family got on a private jet to go to LSU and check that whole Baton Rouge scene out. That was just whispers at first. And then a couple of sources confirmed it, like, yep, that actually did happen. So again, imagine our Hurricanes having Lane Kiffin as our coach. We finally get back to the place where we want to be, which is national championship contention. And the only thing that people are talking about is the fact that our coach, Lane Kiffin, is going and flirting with these other schools, potentially leaving, most likely leaving. Think about that. Like, that's crazy work. So the fact that people are still considering Lane Kiffin as this excellent head coach candidate at a school like Miami, where he has no kind of ties to, is mind boggling to me. Mario Cristobal has improved every season so far. We don't know what this season is going to look like. I've said it before. If he goes 10-2 this year, and doesn't get into the playoffs, I'm going to consider this as his first failure, because I thought this year he had to at least win the ACC championship or make it to the playoffs for us to be considered a positive year. So if he doesn't do those, even though he won 10 games back-to-back seasons, I'm going to view this as his first loss on a year. First time. Every year prior to this, he's gotten better and better and better. The players on the field look better. The recruiting is getting better every year. The offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator finally seem to be getting on the same wavelength as far as doing things correctly, I should say. But yeah, it seems like the program gets better every single season. So now, assume that let's go ahead and go back to this hypothetical situation where Lane Kiffin is Miami's coach. And people are starting to say, hey man, I think Lane Kiffin's probably about to leave Miami to go to Florida, or maybe he's going to go and coach LSU, or maybe he wants to get this Alabama job that might come open, which it's not. But let's just say that's happening. What would you want your coach to be doing during that time? Wouldn't you want your coach to come out and publicly say, hey man, I'm not focused on that job. I'm not focused on that job. I've got these players that I'm committed to. I've got this institution that I'm committed to. We're going to focus on getting our national championship this year. And if we, at the end of this season, maybe we can look at some things. But as of right now, I'm focused on what this team is doing. That's what you'd want your coach to do, right? Okay. Well, what do you think Lane Kiffin's doing? Lane Kiffin is busy tweeting. That's what he's doing. 5 hours ago, he put out this tweet that says, have the best Tuesday ever, everyone. And what's in this, the first line said in this picture that he shares of this book that he's reading, apparently, it says day 223. The first line is, how do you know what to do next? Do you think that, like, what is that? Is that cute? Is that funny? What is that? Like, how, if you were an Ole Miss fan, or if Lane Kiffin was coaching the Hurricanes, how would you take that? I would be pissed off if I was an Ole Miss fan right now, or if he was a Miami Hurricanes coach and considering other jobs, if he put something like that online. I would be pissed off. And then here's the next one. Great chapter this morning. Let's turn inward. And the line that he underlines on here says, you're too energetic. Your thoughts are too busy. You don't like sitting still. You don't like sitting still? For real? Is that not like a wink wink saying he's about to leave? Like, come on, man. And then I'm just hoping that this kind of information drives the point home that the coach that we have, Mario Cristobal, we should be thrilled that he is our head coach. Thrilled. Just go and look at what Texas A&M has to deal with. They've got in the middle of making a sprint towards the college football playoffs. Texas A&M has to pull their coach into the office and sign him to a crazy extension because they're like, he just might get an offer from Florida or from somewhere else, and he might just dip on out on us. Mario Cristobal is not doing that. We don't have to worry about him doing that. So that's why I'm hoping and praying that y'all get off of this train about fire Mario every time we lose a game. Got to be a little bit more patient. I mean, is he an X's and O's guru? He's not. I'll give you that. He's not. But he is building a program, and it takes a while to get there, especially if you don't have like this Nick Saban type mindset of X's and O's and all of that stuff. It's going to take a little while. What we're doing at Miami is building a program based on getting exceptional talent in. And I've told y'all before, I believe The next championship we win, we'll probably end up winning the championship similar to what we did against Nebraska all those years ago, where we just totally eliminate them from the jump. I don't think it's going to be an X's and O's tight football game that we win. I think we're just going to blow the team off the field because we have exceptional talent all over the place and just overwhelm them with talent. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, that's all that I got for y'all today, man. I just wanted to make sure I drove this point home because it's not too often where you tell someone, hey, man, you shouldn't do this. And then they go, why shouldn't you do that? And then you try to explain to them and they don't want to hear it. But then when that thing actually presents itself in front of you and you can say, see, there it is right there. That's what I was telling y'all about. That doesn't happen too often. So I had to come on here and explain to y'all exactly why we got to stay away from this. Fire Mario Cristobal, bring this guy in. Because the guy who's calling our play, or not calling our play, the guy who's leading our team right now wants to be there. And I'm telling you, you have to place a huge emphasis on how important that is. I can tell y'all, as most of y'all know, I own 7 businesses. I've got about 120 employees. There's been, and I don't know how many clients we have, but let's just say I have 250 clients somewhere in there all together in all the businesses. There's been plenty of times. There's 2 different companies I can think of off the top of my head. Fortune 500 companies, they make billions of dollars every year. We had contracts with 2 of these Fortune 500 companies, huge companies. I don't want to say their names. We had contracts with both of them. I reached out to each of those companies and said, I know that we've got contracts. I know that the contract states that you can't go anywhere because you're tied to us for 3 years. I understand all that. But here's what I'm doing. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to find some other company to work with because we no longer want to work with you. And they came back and was like, why is that? And I said, you've shown me on multiple occasions that you would rather work with somebody else. So please go and work with somebody else. I don't want to work with y'all anymore because you've shown me multiple times that you do not want to work with me. It's important, incredibly important. I've learned this the hard way, that you only work with those who want to work with you. And what if I'm Ole Miss, and I know this sounds crazy to y'all, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm giving Lane Kiffin an ultimatum. And it's not going to be one of those things where it's like decide within 3 weeks. Nah, brother, I need a decision by Sunday. I need a decision by Friday. Let me know if you're going to be here or somewhere else. If you want to be somewhere else, we'll go ahead and just say we're going to mutually not fire you. We're going to mutually split ways. You go that way, we go this way. The assistant head coach, he'll get elevated to the head coach position, and you will coach the rest of our games the rest of this season. Lane Kiffin, you're done. Only coach, only hire coaches, only hire employees, only work with clients who want to work with you long term. That is how you eliminate headaches. When you have people on your boat that are only there because you're paying them to be there, they're just going to cause you headaches and stomach aches the rest of your life. If you have a head coach who's only there because you gave him a raise last year, he's going to ask for another raise the next year. And then the next year after that, he's going to ask for an even crazier raise. The only reason why he's there is because you're bowing to his requests. He's not there because he wants to be there. But Mario Cristobal is at Miami because he wants to be at Miami. He's not begging for raises, which I doubt. I don't know. I doubt he's begging for raises. I doubt he's saying, I'll stick around if you do this. I doubt he's saying, if you do that, I'll stay for another couple years. No, he wants to be there. So he's staying there. In the example I mentioned earlier, that client, well, those 2 clients, both of them sending emails about this kind of nonsense, sending emails about that kind of nonsense, telling my employees this, telling my employees that. Okay, cool. You obviously don't want to work with us. Go ahead and find somebody else that you want to work with. We're done. I'll tear this contract up. You can find another client and we'll go ahead and erase the rest of the contract that we got. Burn it in fire if you want to. That's the mentality that I had after that. We gave up dozens of thousands of dollars doing that. I personally gave up dozens of thousands of dollars in 1 year by doing that. But it made me so much happier up here. I think Ole Miss needs to have that same mentality. Go ahead and cut ties with them. Move on to the next person. Have the people in the building who want to be there. You don't want to just continuously drag people along because you're saying, oh, we need you. We need you, man. Whatever you need, we'll make it happen for you. Please don't leave. No, go ahead and get on out of here. We'll find somebody else. All right, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue building this thing one like and one subscription at a time. As I always say, I really do appreciate the support. Every like we get, every subscription we get helps me take care of my family even better, and I really do appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.